it's certainly not irrelevant because we have alleged, as you heard yesterday in the opening submissions, that President Bongbong Marcos was behind this whole escapade, the funneling of witnesses to the International Criminal Court. I'm not entitled to go into details because there are protective measures on this case, but he knows jolly well who was doing his dirty work for him.
Ayan mga kaibigan, narinig niyo po si Attorney Kaufman matapos po siyang ma-interview nitong mga reporters regarding nga po sa update dito po sa hearing ni Tatay Diggs dyan po sa ICC mga kaibigan. Kung naalala niyo po kahapon napag-usapan po mga kaibigan yung pong expose ng 18 ex-marines na nagsalita na po at nagsabi ng mga pagsusuhol na ginawa ng administrasyon ni Bangag dyan po sa mga ICC officials, yung pagpa-funnel po ng mga witness para po tuluyan na pong madaya ito pong proceedings, itong judicial proceedings dito po kay Tatay Diggs dyan po sa ICC. Ayan mga kaibigan, this is Space Gen Z. Kamusta po kayong lahat? Narito po ang mainit na balita. Pero bago po ang lahat, huwag niyo po kalimutan mag-iwan ng like sa ating video at subscribe para po kayo ay mas maging updated sa mga may init at nagbabagang balita dito lamang sa ating bansa. Samantala mga kaibigan, Total People Power Day ngayon, pag-uusapan natin itong si Atty. Luke Espiritu, yung pagsupalpal niya dito sa tambalang Lutang at Bangag at maging sa mga Unipink na pilit na pinupush si Lutang na humabol bilang Pangulo sa darating na 2028 at makipagpartido dito kay Bangag. Ayan mga kaibigan, ito po ang sinabi ni Atty. Luke Espiritu mga kaibigan, pakinggan natin lahat.
Marcos, yung sinasabing dapat mag-alyansa ang Pink at Liberal kay Marcos, yan ang sinasabi kong kiss of death. Kiss of death para sa Liberals, kiss of death para sa Pink. Dahil sinking ship si Marcos. Hindi sila mananalo kay Sara kapag nakipag-alyansa sila kay Marcos. Sinking ship na, ba't kasasakay sa sinking ship?
Yes. So,
Walang naniniwala na hindi corrupt si Marcos. Ang masang Pilipino, alam na magnanakaw yan. Yan ang pinakamagnanakaw na presidente since the time of his father. Number one, siyempre top notcher ang tatay niya, siya salutatorian sa pagnanakaw.
so parang lalabas, corrupt din itong Pink.
Mawawalan ka ng kredibilidad, di ba? Ngayon, makikipag-alyansa ka sa magnanakaw, di ba? Salutatorian sa kanyang tatay sa pagnanakaw, sa dami ng ninakaw. Mag-aalyansa ka sa kanya. Tapos ang mensahe mo, wag nating gawing presidente si Sara Duterte. Sino presidente? Kami. Sabi ng masang Pilipino, nakipag-alyansa ka nga sa magnanakaw di ba?
Tama.
Paano naman ikaw ang alternatibo? Ang naniningil lang sa magnanakaw si Sara Duterte. Di sasabihin ng masa, siya yung alternatibo kay Marcos, hindi kayo.
Ang
Hindi
ibig
kayo.
sabihin lang, kung magnanakaw, sasama ka sa magnanakaw, baka magnanakaw na rin.
Hindi naman magnanakaw yung mga anti-corruption din yan.
Opo.
Pero kahit na anti-corruption, ang pinag-uusapan alyansa kay Marcos, oportunista na pagtingin ng kung paano manalo sa eleksyon.
Ayun.
Yan mismo ang magpapalubog sa kanila. Pustahan tayo.
Yun.
So,
Ayan mga kaibigan, narinig niyo po si Atty. Luke nang galing na po mismo dito supporter na po talaga ito ni na Lenny noong 2022 isa po to sa mga bumoboses na sumusuporta nung sa team ng pangalan ng nila, nakalimutan ko na, basta yung mga Rosas na grupo mga kaibigan, isa po yan si Luke Espiritu ang tumataguyod dyan at pinaglalaban yung kanyang partido at bumoboses din laban sa unit team noong 2022 pero ngayon narinig nyo na po siya mga kaibigan, kiss of death di umano at sinking ship ang Bangag administration. Kaya pag sumali itong mga Pink dito kay Bangag GG na mga kaibigan, game over na dahil mawawalan nga naman ng kredibilidad itong mga kulay rosas kahit naman wala namang kredibilidad in the first place kasi titingnan natin naging mayor itong si Lenny at naging mayor din naman itong si Sara. Kung ikukumpara natin ang growth ng Naga City sa Davao, malayo ang Naga sa Davao. Yung Davao nandun na talaga sa taas yung Naga nagsisimula pa lang. Makikita mo yung diferensya sa tinagal-tagal na hawak ng mga Robredo yung Naga. Bakit hindi kasing unlad ng Davao City ngayon? Yan ang natin dyan, ang masasabi natin. Matagal na pong walang kredibilidad yung mga kulay pink na yan. Kung sumali pa yan sa administrasyon ng Bangag, lalo po silang mawawalan ng kredibilidad. Ayan mga kaibigan, sa kabilang dako panonoorin natin itong privilege speech ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano regarding nga po dito sa paglilitis kay Tatay Diggs dyan sa ICC na ito ay isang unconstitutional na pamamaraan ng paglilitis dahil wala naman po, hindi po nakasaad sa ating batas na, na tama po ang pagpapadala ng ating kapwa Pilipino sa ibang sa korte ng mga banyaga para doon litisin. Yan po ay isang unconstitutional na gawain. Ayan mga kaibigan, huwag natin patagalin, papanoorin na po natin.
Opportunity. Let me start with a biblical principle. Kung anong ating itatanim, yan ang ating aanihin. So 40 years ago, one of the issues that led our people to a the first peaceful revolution in the world was the fear of people that they can be arrested anytime, anywhere, in the middle of the night in their own homes, with a warrant that wasn't issued by a judicial authority or the arbitrariness. This isn't peculiar or hindi to pang Pilipino lang. Actually, all throughout history, during the times that the monarchy ruled the UK and France, that is also the same reason why you have parliamentary immunity. Because if the monarchy did not want a member of parliament to speak on a certain topic, baka biglang arestuhin. So over hundreds of years, na-develop ang check and balance of how the state will be empowered to arrest a person or search his person or his household or his business, while also protecting his basic right, his right to liberty, life and property, that cannot be deprived without due process of law. 40 years later, or 39 years later, last year, we faced this issue, but now because the world is now a global city, dahil interconnected na, nag-evolve na po ito. So when the former president was issued a warrant of arrest from the ICC, the executive, as explained by several of their officials of the executive department, as explained by several cabinet members, used the Section 17 of RA 9851, which is to surrender. So this is not actually the topic directly of this resolution because this resolution is prospective. This resolution deals with all Filipinos from the time that we give our sense or we express or communicate, articulate the sense of the Senate, that under our Constitution, it's very clear, Section 2, Article 3, 1987 Constitution, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, and papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures of whatever nature, and for any purpose shall be inviolable. And no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. So, simple po, two parts po ito. Unreasonable search and seizure, inviolable, bawal. So, when is it not unreasonable? When a search warrant or a warrant of arrest is issued. And when can this be issued? One, only by a judge, and two, after that judge does examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce. I will not go to all of the jurisprudence because medyo rich na to, but all the lawyers in this hall and listening to us would agree that hindi ito simpleng bagay sa na inatas sa judge. All the jurisprudence will say that the judge has to personally determine. He has to look at the evidence. He has to examine it and believe that there is in fact probable cause. And probable cause, again, in two aspects. that there's a probability that the crime he is accused of was committed, and secondly, the probability that the accused, he himself or she himself, committed that crime. Now comes the problem when you have an international warrant of arrest. So we have several treaties that deals with, excuse me, sir, that deals with extradition. Diyan medyo klaro. Bakit? Nakalagay dito, transmittal, then yung arrest nung Pilipino, pero katulad po na nakita natin kay Congressman Jimenez, hindi po ba, na may proseso yung extradition, yung warrant of arrest, dadaan sa mga korte natin, and available ang korte sa kahit sinong Pilipino na naghahanap ng remedy doon. So ang problema po natin, ang interpretation ngayon ng Executive Department sa Section 17, RA 9851, ay basta't na lang pwedeng ibigay or ipadala. At kung sila'y nagmamadali o medyo paspas at isakay na sa eroplano, walang reasonable time na tumakbo sa korte. If you look at exactly the same situation in the United Kingdom, tignan nyo po sa United Kingdom, kapag ka po arrest procedure, ICC request for arrest submitted to the Secretary of State, transmittal of the ICC request by the Secretary of State to the appropriate judicial officer. The appropriate judicial officer to issue a warrant of arrest, provisional warrant, arrest by domestic law, the arrested person shall be brought before a competent court as soon as possible. And as arrested person may apply for bail. Tignan nyo po dun sa surrender. Sa UK po, pag sinurrender, the competent court shall issue a delivery order for the arrested person to be delivered to the custody of ICC. In deciding to issue a delivery order, the court shall consider, among others, the person was lawfully arrested in pursuance of the warrant and whether his rights has been respected. So take note, Mr. President, dear colleagues, parating tinitignan yung karapatan ng akusado. The arrest person may ask for a review of the delivery order to waive his right to such a review. An arrested person may consent to be delivered up to into the custody of ICC. So kung ayaw niya pumunta na ng korte at siya sinusurrender niya sarili niya, pwede po. Then the competent court may refuse to make a delivery order and demand the person arrested notifying the Secretary of State of its decision and grounds therefore. So meron pong article, not sure if it's Business World, from a LaSalle professor that is, sorry, but it's not only kulang sa knowledge, but it's fake news na sinabi niya na maapektuhan yung ating international standing. Hindi po. Kahit tignan niyo po sa ICC, nakalagay po doon na complementary. Even the first president of ICC, Judge Kirsch, no? Explain kung bakit to complementary, di ba? Dahil nga involved ang judicial authorities nung local or yung bansang yon, no? So ito po ang sinabi po ni Judge Kirsch. The statute of the ICC is a two-pillar system, a judicial pillar represented by the court and enforcement pillar represented by the states, which undertake a legal obligation to cooperate with the court through statute. Indeed, the ICC's enforcement regime and its practical application constitute an essential part of any evaluation of ICC's legitimacy. So, Mr. President, if you look at another country, Canada, pagka-arrest procedure, the ICC request for arrest is transmitted to the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice will authorize the Attorney General to apply for a provisional arrest warrant. The Attorney General will apply ex parte for a provisional arrest warrant before a judge. The judge will issue a warrant if the application meets prescribed criteria. The arrest warrant is executed by domestic law enforcement. The person arrested under provisional warrant may be granted provisional liberty based on judicial interim release order. Mr. President, what about surrender? In case of surrender, the minister may, after receiving a request for extradition and being satisfied that all conditions are met, issue an authority to proceed to the Attorney General to seek on behalf of the extradition partner a court order for committal of a person. Note, a person may at any time after the issuance of an authority to proceed consent in writing before a judge to a committal. So walang problema po pag pumayag yung tao. But the judge shall, on receipt of authority to proceed from the Attorney General, hold an extradition hearing. Due process, Mr. President. Diba? Even si Eva at Adan nung kinain ni Eva yung forbidden fruit, tapos pinakain niya kay Adan, alam naman ng Panginoon na kinain nila to, but ano sinabi sa kanila? Adam and Eve, diba? Why are you hiding? So if you read Genesis, nandyan yung essence ng due process, tatanungin mo muna. Because there might be issues that we do not know and will become moot and academic if you just put a Filipino on a plane and send him abroad. I mean, all of us here agree. Pagdating sa West Philippine Sea, not a single inch of territory hindi natin pamimigay. Atin ito. Sana naman po pagdating sa kapwa Pilipino, ganun din. Atin to. Kababayan natin to. Tao to. No? Hindi dapat basta't sinosurrender sa kahit sabihin mong meron po tayong treaty. At pag tinignan mo po yung treaty na yun mismo, nire-recognize ang ating judicial authorities. Baka sabihin po natin, well, Canada at UK yan. Well, ang sagot ko po doon, bakit po ibaba ang rules pag Amerika, pag UK, pag Canada? So let's go to a somewhere nearer, South Korea. Sa South Korea po, the ICC makes a request for extradition to the Korean Minister of Foreign Affairs to diplomatic channels. The Minister of Justice reviews whether the extradition request complies with the act of the extradition treaty and may either order the Chief Prosecutor of Seoul High Prosecutor's Office to assign a prosecutor to request the court's judicial review on the extradition, or choose not to order the request based on grounds to refuse extradition or other reasons minister considers appropriate to refuse extradition. Hindi ko na po babasahin dahil medyo mahaba, pero yung essence po ay nasa judicial authorities pa rin nila. Ganun din po sa surrender. Based on the court order, the Minister of Justice may make the final decision to release or extradite the requested person. So, Mr. President, ano po gagawin natin lahat kung bukas, February 26, ang headline sa lahat ng dyaryo natin, 25 PNP generals, 25 AFP generals, members of the Communist Party of the Philippines, several media practitioners and editors, several congressmen, senators, cabinet members, God forbid, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, ay na-issuean ng ICC. And bigla na lang kukunin, isasakay sa airplano. And sasabihin nyo, sir, hindi, umalis na kasi tayo sa Rome Statute. Hindi po. During the time na valid ang Rome Statute, nagkaroon po tayo niyan ng communist insurgency. So although the last few decades wala tayong nababalitaan na mass grave, paano kung biglang may magpakita na may mass grave dyan at tinuro yung iba sa kanila? Pwede na lang silang damputin at dalhin sa Hague? O paano yung Marawi? Paano kung meron na video na dun sa bombahan tapos sinabi civilian to, hindi ito military target. Hindi nila pinakita na may nagtatagong mga rebelde dun sa school na yon, na bomba yung school na yon. Nag-issue yung ICC. Papayag tayong arestuhin na lang basta-basta ang ating mga men and women in uniform, ang ating mga senador, ang ating congressmen? What if the President of the Republic of the Philippines today was Senator Bato or Senator Bongo? And then naglabas ngayon. Pwede na lang silang damputin na lang. They cannot go to court. Mr. President, nakakalimutan po ng marami na tumutulig sa stand ng mga na to go to court first is that sovereignty is an essential part of international relations and international law. Pag sinabi natin general accepted principles of international law, kasama po doon ang pagrespeto sa sovereignty. Ang problema po ng Pilipino ay problema ng Pilipino. Pero yes, may mga crimes against humanity na problema ng buong mundo. Pero mismong Rome Statute ang nagsasabing, sandali lang, Kung ginawa sa Pilipinas yan at kaya nyo sa Pilipinas, sa inyo muna. But again, Mr. President, hindi po yan ang substance ng resolution na to. Hindi po si dating Pangulong Duterte na ngayon na po ay gumugulong na po at meron confirmation of charges. Hindi rin pinag-uusapan po dito whether or not we should join or rejoin the ICC. Ang pinag-uusapan dito ay simple. Issue 40 years ago, issue din po ngayon. Pag may biglang aarestuhin, kailangan yung arestuhin na yon ay may pagkakataon pumunta sa Philippine courts to seek remedy. If you look at the Convention on Human Rights, the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, nandun din po to. So it's part of the generally accepted principles of international law. So Mr. President, let me just say it one more time because I know we have a lot of strong feelings about the drug war, about the hearing. Clear yung issues ng both sides. Hindi po yon ang nilalaman ng resolution na to. Ang nilalaman ng resolution to simple lang. Pag may warrant na hindi issued by a Philippine judge, kailangan po dumaan sa korte yan, kung hindi unconstitutional yan. At kailangan ang bawat Pilipino na may tanong at nagsisik ng remedy ay pwedeng makapunta sa korte ng ating inang bayan. So thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Majority Leader. And if there are any interpellations, I'll be more than happy to try to answer our colleagues' questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, those who listed to interpret are Senator Bangfton Lacson, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Senator Bam Aquino, and the Senate President. But I believe they're asking if they can do it on Monday when there are more people, I think.
I always ask the same thing, so I'm not in a position to say no. But just because because I made the Senate President laugh anyway today. But if we can do it on Monday, better, just because of the urgency of the matter.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We'll put it back on the agenda on Monday. We commit to the good.
My interpellations is very simple. It's about wordings, but let's do it on Monday after I listen to the other interpellators.
It'll be a
Thank you, sir.
privilege, Mr. President.
Thank you.
po.
Thank you very much, sir, Minority Floor Leader. Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of the measure.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1744 under Committee Report number 26. Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of 1744 is in order.
Mr. President, the parliamentary status of the measure is that we are in the period of interpellation. I believe the good Senate President would like to propose some or interpellate.
Yes,
I could take over if you want, Mr. President, or Senator Lacson.
Session suspended.
suspended.
1 minute.
Po, ang totoo po nito, Ginoong Pangulo, sa aking pong palagay, mas kailangan din pong konsultahin yung pamilya nung nakapiit. Dahil sa, halimbawa po, isang kababayan natin, na sa ngayon ay hindi pa niya alam yung abang kalagayan ng ating mga piitan. Baka po kailangan konsultahin din natin ang kanyang mga mahal sa buhay.
Morning.
What was the first day of the hearing?
Well, the first day of the hearing was opening speeches, so everyone said what they had to say. Today, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, examining the evidence. The defense won't be speaking today. It will be totally prosecution. In the afternoon, I think the victims will start making their presentation, and we will start on Thursday, because at the present moment in time, the schedule is that there is a day off on Wednesday. This obviously was in anticipation of the possibility that the former president could actually attend the hearing. Now that's not the case. It will give us an extra day to prepare our submissions, which will start on Thursday and conclude on Friday. And on Friday, there will also be the closing submissions and the yearly review of the former president's detention.
This is Angela from News 5 and One News.
Yes.
What do you have to say to those saying that you involving or mentioning President Bongbong Marcos in your opening statement yesterday is irrelevant to the case?
Certainly not irrelevant.
Why do you say so?
It's certainly not irrelevant because we have alleged, as you heard yesterday in the opening submissions, that President Bongbong Marcos was behind this whole escapade, the funneling of witnesses to the International Criminal Court. I'm not entitled to go into details because there are protective measures on this case, but he knows jolly well who was doing his dirty work for him.
Attorney Pacman, a lot were asking, where were you actually addressing your opening statement? Is it to the ICC or who's your audience in your opening statement?
My
They were
audience,
saying it's for
as in all of
the
these cases, my audience is principally the judges of the International Criminal Court. I'm not making a political speech, but because of the nature of the case and the nature of all the cases at the International Criminal Court, there is, by their very nature, a political element to them.
They were saying it was actually an appeal to emotion speech, but you did not actually.
Well, of course, it's an appeal to emotion speech. They've taken the most popular president in the history of the Philippines. They've extrajudicially renditioned him. I'm talking about the Constitution and the law of the Philippines to a non-Filipino court, and he's standing trial here.
It was just the first day, but the prosecution is already confident that it's going to be a confirmation and that you would proceed to the trial.
Well, we'll see what happens. We haven't made our case yet.
You say any questions?
On the issue on hyperbole or taking out of context words of former President Diggo Duterte, victims are saying they're sad and disappointed, and they feel that the lives of their kin or their family is not a joke.
I didn't say it was a joke. I grieve the loss of life wherever it may occur, and so does the former president. But you talked about emotive speeches. Who really was making the emotive speeches yesterday?
Sir, how will your appeal now on the question of the jurisdiction affect now that the hearing of the confirmation of charges is ongoing?
Well, we're waiting for the judgment on the challenge to the jurisdiction of the court. We expected it to be rendered before the hearing on the confirmation of the charges. It wasn't, but then, as I've told you in previous interviews, it's not my position to tell the judges how to order their diary.
Were you able to talk to former President Duterte after the opening statement yesterday?
Yes, we were. The whole defense team spoke to him, and we gave him a rundown and a briefing of what was said, and he was happy.
What was his reaction?
Yes.
He was happy.
What did he say, Attorney Nick?
That he was happy.
Just that? That's the.
I'm not going to go into exactly what was said between us. There is a certain concept called attorney-client privilege,
Yeah.
but I can assure you that he's extremely happy with the way that things are going at the present moment in time.
Was he able to monitor, Attorney Nick? Did he
No.
watch it?
No.
No. You just informed him the development and what happened. on
I
the
think
first
he
day.
made his view clear with respect to the proceedings in his waiver.
How is he, Attorney Nick?
He is always good spirits. He's an 8-year-old man. He has all the conditions which one would expect of an 8-year-old man, with the extra conditions which accompany his cognitive state.